Hello, Ashima. This video is for Thursday, May 7th. I figured out a way to make myself here on the video in addition to my computer screen. So today we are going to be reading pages 34 to 38 of Esperanza Rising. We're just finishing chapter 3, which is called Las Papayas. So in that chapter, we talked about the meaning of language and how the words and phrases that the author uses really helps build understanding for us. It helps us get to know the characters a little bit better and to understand their relationships, and for us to also get a picture in our mind of what the author's trying to get us to see or feel or experience with the characters. So today we're going to just start out by looking at the previous first half of the chapter, so that we can familiarize ourselves with what happened in that chapter, and then you guys are going to read the rest of the chapter, which is just a couple of pages on your own, and answer some questions. One thing that Mr. Levine posted for you today is about women owning land in Mexico. And in Mexico, especially during the time where this book is taking place, it was not traditional for women to be landowners. Only men could own land. So this scene that I'm about to reread from chapter 3 involves Tío Luis and Tío Marco, who are Esperanza's uncles. And they're claiming that Esperanza's mom is no longer the owner of the land that they're living on. So obviously this creates a huge problem for Esperanza, because now her family's home is no longer hers. So I'm going to reread something that you read yesterday, and we're going to talk about how language and words and meaning really impacts us as the reader and helps us build some understanding. So just pulling up my lesson plan. All right, here we go. I'm going to start reading around here. Ramona, said the lawyer, your husband, Sixto Ortega, left this house and all of its contents to you and your daughter. You will also receive the yearly income from the grapes. As you know, it's not customary to leave land to women, and since Luis was the banker on the loan, Sixto left the land to him. Which makes things rather awkward, said Tia Luis. I am the bank president and would like to live accordingly. Now that I own this beautiful land, I would like to purchase the house from you for this amount. He handed Mama a piece of paper. Mama looked at it and said, this is our home. My husband meant for us to live here. And the house? It's worth 20 times this much. So no, I will not sell. Besides, where would we live? I predicted you would say no, Ramona, said Tia Luis, and I have a special solution to your living arrangements. A proposal, actually. One of marriage. Who is he talking about? Thought Esperanza. Who would marry him? He cleared his throat. Of course, we would wait the appropriate amount of time. Out of respect for my brother. 1 year is customary, is it not? Even you can see that with your beauty and reputation and my position at the bank, we could be a very powerful couple. Did you know that I, too, have been thinking of entering politics? I'm going to campaign for governor, and what woman would not want to be the governor's wife? Esperanza could not believe what she heard. Mama marry Tia Luis? Marry a goat? She looked wide-eyed at him, then at Mama. Mama's face looked as if it were in terrible pain. She stood up and spoke slowly and deliberately. I have no desire to marry you, Luis, now or ever. Frankly, your offer offends me. Tia Luis's face hardened like a rock, and the muscles twitched in his narrow neck. You will regret your decision, Ramona. You must keep in mind that this house and those grapes are on my property. I can make things difficult for you. Very difficult. I will let you sleep on the decision, for it is more than generous. Tio Luis and Tio Marco put on their hats and left. The lawyer looked uncomfortable and began gathering documents. Vulture, said Abuelita. Can he do this? Asked Mama. Yes, said the lawyer. Technically, he's now your landlord. But he could build another house, bigger and more pretentious anywhere on the property, said Mama. It's not the house that he wants, said Abuelita. It's your influence he wants. People in this territory loved Sixto and respect you. With you as his wife, Luis could win any election. Mama stiffened. She looked at the lawyer and said, Please officially relay this message to Luis. I will never, ever change my mind. I will do that, Ramona, said the lawyer, but be careful. He's a devious, dangerous man. The lawyer left, and Mama collapsed into a chair, put her head in her hands, and began to cry. Esperanza ran to her. Don't cry, Mama. Everything will be all right. But she didn't sound convincing even to herself, because all she could think about was what Tia Luis had said, that Mama would regret her decision. Yikes. So when we think about what the characters are feeling on these pages, clearly there's a lot of emotion going on. I think Mama feels angry, frustrated, also scared and uncertain. And I think Esperanza is angry and offended and shocked. And we know this because of the language that the author has used to help us see that. So if you look really just at this sort of last paragraph, she didn't sound convincing even to herself. Mama collapsed into a chair, put her head in her hands, and began to cry. So instead of just saying Mama started to cry, she also collapsed in the chair, put her head in her hands. All these descriptions that the author's giving us is helping us to experience this pain and despair that Esperanza and her mom are both feeling. So as you read today, think about the picture that the author's trying to create in your mind and what types of metaphors or even literal language the author's trying to get you to take in so that you can feel what the characters are feeling. So enjoy the rest of the chapter. Keep in mind sort of the dynamic, the power dynamic between Esperanza and her mom and her uncles, and why it might be hard for her mom to turn them down, what kind of risks come with that, and what rewards too, like what good and bad can come from both of those options. So we'll talk about this on Zoom later on today, and I hope you all have a great day.